Captain Marco Rodriguez jolted awake, his heart pounding like a relentless drum. The cryosleep chamber unsealed with a hiss, and the cool air of the spacecraft caressed his face, leaving goosebumps on his skin. He blinked, trying to focus on the surreal kaleidoscope of colors outside the window. Kepler-16 was even more vibrant than he had imagined. Tangerine skies woven through with jeweled ribbons of emerald and sapphire. The anticipation buzzing in his chest threatened to consume him. "Captain, you're awake," said Dr. Petrova, her voice steady but eyes betraying a spark of excitement. "Feeling all right?" "Never better," he replied, forcing himself to stand. His legs wobbled for a moment before finding their strength. He couldn't help but stare at the mesmerizing landscape outside, feeling an inexplicable pull toward it. "Time to gather the crew," Captain Rodriguez murmured, tearing his gaze away from the psychedelic planet. With long strides, he made his way to the control room, the eager anticipation coiled within him like a spring. "Attention, crew," he announced, his voice commanding yet tinged with awe. "Report to the control room immediately." One by one, the crew members filed into the room, each of them wearing expressions of childlike wonder. They gathered around the windows, captivated by the bizarre life forms that danced in the swirling mists of Kepler-16's surface. "Look at those creatures," whispered Navigational Officer Nguyen, pointing to a group of iridescent beings that seemed to ripple and undulate as they moved. "They're like nothing I've ever seen." "Indeed," agreed Engineer Hernandez, his analytical mind already working to make sense of the alien world. "The very laws of physics seem different here." "Amazing," Pilot Cruz breathed, a grin stretching across his face. "Just imagine what it would feel like to fly alongside them." Captain Rodriguez allowed himself a smile, watching his crew's fascination with the surreal landscape. He felt a surge of pride for them. Their courage and curiosity were unmatched. But even as he marveled at the beauty of Kepler-16, something deep inside him gnawed at his soul, a sense of foreboding that he couldn't quite shake. "Let's not get too carried away," he cautioned, his voice soft yet firm. "We have a mission to complete, and there is still much to learn about this place." The crew nodded, their expressions solemn, but the spark in their eyes remained undimmed. They understood their duty, but the call of the unknown tugged at their very being. As Captain Rodriguez gazed upon the vibrant world outside, he knew that they had crossed a threshold, stepping into a realm where reality itself seemed to bend and warp in unfathomable ways. "Stay focused," he reminded himself, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders once more. "Kepler, the 16th of May be beautiful, but its mysteries run deep, and I'll be damned if I let anything happen to my crew." The vibrant colors of Kepler-16 swirled like a cosmic kaleidoscope, their hues blending and morphing in a mesmerizing dance. Captain Rodriguez's brow furrowed in thought as he gazed upon the hypnotic display, his mind grappling with the implications of the psychoactive effects lingering in the planet's atmosphere. "Captain," Dr. Petrova began, her voice tinged with excitement, "I believe we should explore the surface. There is no better way to study the psychoactive properties and gather samples than immersing ourselves in the environment." Captain Rodriguez's piercing brown eyes met hers, weighing the risks against the potential gains. He knew that curiosity fueled Dr. Petrova, but he also recognized the brilliance that lay within her. "Your proposal has merit," he conceded, "but we must proceed with caution." "Of course, Captain," Dr. Petrova nodded, her enthusiasm barely contained. "All right then," Captain Rodriguez said decisively. "Cruz, Nguyen, prepare the landing module. Hernandez, I need you to ensure Celestia's systems are functioning properly. We'll reconvene in 20 minutes. "Understood, Captain," Pilot Cruz replied, his dark eyes gleaming with mischief as he turned to Navigational Officer Nguyen. "Ready for another adventure, Sophia?" "Always," she responded, her lips curving into a small smile. They shared a knowing glance before heading off to complete their tasks. Dr. Petrova busied herself gathering her equipment, her hands trembling with anticipation. She couldn't help but imagine the wealth of knowledge they might uncover on this enigmatic world. But as Captain Rodriguez watched her, he couldn't shake the gnawing sensation that something more profound awaited them. "Is there anything else we should be aware of, Doctor?" he asked, hoping to quell his uneasiness. "From what we've observed," she replied, adjusting her glasses, "the psychoactive effects seem to amplify one's perception of reality. In essence, it might change the way we view the world around us." Could that pose a danger to our mission? He inquired, his thoughts turning to the safety of his crew. Potentially, Dr. Petrova admitted. However, I believe the benefits far outweigh the risks. We may discover something truly groundbreaking. Very well, Captain Rodriguez said, his resolve solidifying. I trust your judgment. Thank you, Captain, Dr. Petrova replied, her eyes gleaming with gratitude. As the crew dispersed to their respective duties, Captain Rodriguez found himself alone with his thoughts. He gazed out at the ever-shifting tapestry of colors, wondering what secrets awaited them on Kepler-16's surface. Would they find answers to questions they hadn't yet asked, or would they merely discover new mysteries? Stay focused, he whispered to himself. We are explorers, after all, and explorers must be prepared for anything. With that thought, he steeled himself against the unknown, determined to face whatever challenges lay ahead. For he knew that on this surreal and bewildering planet, the line between reality and illusion was as tenuous as the shimmering veil of colors that danced before his very eyes. A kaleidoscope of colors pulsed through the windows of the landing module, casting surreal patterns on the crew's anxious faces. Captain Rodriguez took a deep breath, his heart racing in tandem with the vibrant hues that danced before them. Are we ready? He asked, his voice betraying just a hint of trepidation. His crew nodded their affirmation, their eyes wide and gleaming with anticipation. Dr. Petrova zipped up her spacesuit, her hands trembling slightly as she adjusted the helmet. I can hardly believe we're really here, she murmured in awe. Her words seemed to resonate through the small space, amplifying the sense of wonder that enveloped them all. Let's make history then, Pilot Cruz declared, his usual grin making an appearance beneath the visor of his helmet. He pressed the button that would initiate the landing sequence, and they braced themselves for descent. As the landing module touched down on Kepler-16's surface, a gentle vibration reverberated through the craft. The hatch opened slowly, revealing the alien world beyond. Captain Rodriguez couldn't help but gasp as his eyes adjusted to the dazzling panorama before him. Look at that, Navigational Officer Nguyen whispered, her voice filled with equal parts amazement and reverence. It's more beautiful than I ever could have imagined. Stay focused, everyone, Captain Rodriguez reminded his crew, his training kicking in despite the overwhelming sensory input. We're here to explore and learn, not just gawk. Right, of course, Dr. Petrova replied, her excitement momentarily tempered by her professionalism. Let's start gathering samples and analyzing the effects of this atmosphere. The strange sounds that emanated from the planet's surface swirled around them, blending with the pulsating colors to create a symphony of sensations. As if responding to some unheard command, the crew stepped out onto the alien landscape, their senses utterly overwhelmed. Is this even real? Engineer Hernandez muttered, his voice a mix of wonder and trepidation. Or is it all just an illusion? Does it matter? Pilot Cruz replied with a laugh, his eyes sparkling as he gazed up at the iridescent avians that soared above them. Whatever it is, it's incredible. Stay sharp, Captain Rodriguez warned them, his mind struggling to maintain focus amidst the chaos of the surreal environment. He couldn't help but wonder if they were truly prepared for what lay ahead, or if they would be forever changed by their experiences on Kepler-16. Captain, Dr. Petrova's voice pulled him from his reverie. You seem distracted. Is everything all right? Rodriguez hesitated, his thoughts teetering on the edge of some vast and unknowable abyss. Yes, he finally replied, forcing a smile. Let's continue our mission. As they ventured further into the heart of the alien world, the boundaries between reality and illusion grew ever more indistinct. Yet through it all, Captain Rodriguez held tightly to his sense of duty, determined to guide his crew safely through the uncharted territory that lay before them. The world seemed to breathe beneath their feet, the undulating terrain rippling like the surface of a vast organic sea. Captain Rodriguez cast his gaze upon the horizon, where the sky bled into a kaleidoscope of impossible colors, each hue folding into the next in an endless dance. Stay close, he instructed firmly, leading the crew deeper into the vibrant landscape. We don't know what dangers lie ahead. Understood, Captain, Dr. Petrova replied, her eyes already scanning the alien flora with a voracious curiosity. She knelt beside a plant that seemed to defy the very laws of physics, its leaves melting and reforming before her eyes. This is astonishing. Be cautious, Doctor, the captain warned, his own wonder tempered by the weight of responsibility he felt for his crew. "Of course, Captain." Her gloved hand reached out gingerly, plucking a sample from the shimmering life form. As she carefully stowed it within her collection kit, her mind raced with visions of untold scientific discoveries. "I can't wait to analyze these specimens. Let's hope they provide us with some answers." Captain Rodriguez scanned the horizon, searching for any sign of danger amidst the bewildering beauty of Kepler-16. "We still don't understand how the psychoactive compound in the atmosphere affects us. We must remain vigilant." "Indeed," Dr. Petrova agreed, her attention already shifting to another peculiar plant, its petals twisting and spiraling into infinity. "Captain," Engineer Hernandez's voice trembled slightly, "do you ever wonder if our reality has been altered by our presence here? Are we shaping this world, or is it shaping us?" "An interesting question," Rodriguez mused, his brow furrowing as he contemplated the philosophical implications. "Perhaps our perceptions are being warped, but we cannot lose sight of our mission." "Of course, sir," Hernandez replied, his eyes darting nervously between the vibrant flora and the rest of the crew. "Remember," Captain Rodriguez said, his voice steady as he addressed his team, "we are here to explore, to learn, but above all, to stay safe. Do not let your guard down." "Understood, Captain," Dr. Petrova responded, her gaze never straying from the wonders that surrounded them. "But I cannot help but marvel at the possibilities that await us on this incredible planet." "Nor can I, Doctor," the captain admitted, his own heart aching with a fierce yearning for discovery. "But we must proceed with caution. We are in uncharted territory, and we have no idea what challenges lie ahead." A shimmering kaleidoscope of iridescent avians soared through the sky, their wings beating in a mesmerizing rhythm that seemed to beckon to pilot Cruz. His dark eyes gleamed with mischief and longing as he took in the hypnotic sight. "Captain," Cruz said, his voice filled with wonder, "have you ever seen anything like this? It's as if they're inviting us to join them." "Stay focused, Cruz," Captain Rodriguez warned, sensing the temptation in the pilot's tone. "We cannot afford distractions." "Of course, Captain," Cruz replied, but his gaze remained fixated on the mesmerizing birds, their flight patterns weaving an intricate dance in the vibrant atmosphere. Navigational Officer Nguyen, meanwhile, stood by the edge of a nearby river, her intense brown eyes scrutinizing the water's flow. The liquid seemed to defy logic, swirling and twisting in unnatural ways, its surface reflecting the otherworldly colors of Kepler-16. "Captain," Nguyen called out, "I believe I can control the river." She raised her hand, focusing intently on the water's movement, and to her amazement, the river bent and shifted at her will. "Extraordinary," Dr. Petrova breathed, momentarily distracted from her samples. "What are the limits of these abilities?" "Could it be that our own minds are shaping the world around us?" Nguyen wondered aloud, her thoughts racing with possibilities. "Or is it Kepler-16 itself that grants us these powers?" "Focus, everyone," Captain Rodriguez urged, though he too was captivated by the strange events unfolding before him. Cruz, unable to contain his excitement any longer, detached from the group and approached the flock of iridescent avians. He reached out hesitantly, and as his fingers brushed against one of the creatures, he felt an incredible sensation wash over him. It was as if his consciousness merged with the avians, granting him the freedom to soar through the alien skies. "Captain," Cruz gasped, "I can feel what they feel. I'm one with them now." "Stay with us, Cruz," Rodriguez warned, concern etching lines in his brow. "We cannot afford to lose you." "Understood, Captain," Cruz responded, his voice distant and dreamy. "But it's incredible." "Be cautious," Nguyen advised, her newfound power over the river momentarily forgotten as she worried for her daredevil comrade. "There's so much we don't understand about this place." "Indeed," Dr. Petrova agreed. "Let us not forget our purpose here. We must act responsibly." "Responsibility?" Cruz mused, his thoughts soaring high above the landscape alongside the iridescent avians. "What does that mean in a world like this? Are we not free to explore the limits of our own existence?" "Freedom comes at a cost," Captain Rodriguez said quietly, his eyes tracking Cruz's movements with a mix of awe and concern. "And we must be prepared to pay it." As Cruz reveled in his newfound connection to the ethereal creatures, and Nguyen marveled at her control over the river, the crew of the Celestia found themselves teetering on the edge of reason, their minds expanding with each passing moment. A kaleidoscope of colors swirled around Engineer Hernandez as he meticulously inspected the landing module, the vibrant hues morphing and dancing in his vision like a cosmic ballet. His fingers ran along the surface, feeling the faint thrum of energy that pulsed beneath the metallic skin. "Captain," Hernandez's voice crackled through the comlink. "Landing module is functional, and I'm monitoring the Celestia systems from here. All looks good." "Excellent work, Hernandez," Captain Rodriguez replied, his own voice distorted by the surreal atmosphere. "Stay vigilant. We don't know what might happen down here." "Understood, Captain." Hernandez nodded, though he knew his actions were invisible to the rest of the crew. As they ventured deeper into the alien landscape, their surroundings grew stranger. The once solid ground undulated beneath their feet like waves on an ocean, while flora twisted and contorted into impossible shapes. Even the air seemed to hum with life, its vibrations resonating within each member of the crew. "Look at this," Dr. Petrova murmured, her gloved hand reaching out to touch a plant whose petals appeared to be made of liquid glass. "It's as if reality itself is bending to the whims of this place." "Maybe it is," Nguyen mused, her thoughts still lingering on her newfound ability. "Maybe our own minds are shaping the world around us." "An intriguing concept," Captain Rodriguez admitted. "But we must not lose ourselves in idle speculation. We have a mission to complete." "Of course, Captain," Dr. Petrova acquiesced, even as she continued to examine the bizarre plant life. "Captain?" Cruz's voice was barely audible over the comlink, filled with awe and wonder. "I can see everything, the entire planet, stretching out before us like a tapestry woven from the fabric of dreams." "Stay focused, Cruz," Rodriguez cautioned. "You must not let the allure of this place consume you." "Understood, Captain," Cruz whispered, though his voice betrayed a hint of longing. Hernandez felt an odd sensation ripple down his spine, as if an unseen force was caressing him. He glanced around, searching for the source, but saw only the vivid colors and bizarre shapes that dominated the landscape. This planet, so full of mystery and enchantment, was also a siren's call to madness. "Carlos," he muttered to himself, his fingers brushing against the emblem on his spacesuit. "Remember who you are. Remember your purpose." As they pressed onward, the terrain shifted once more, unleashing a torrent of surreal visions upon them. Time seemed to stretch and compress, moments elongating into eons and then snapping back like elastic bands. The crew fought to maintain their sense of self amidst the chaos, their minds straining against the relentless onslaught of impossible sights. "Captain," Hernandez said, his voice strained. I think we need to be careful. Reality is slipping through our fingers like sand." "Agreed," Rodriguez replied, his own voice heavy with the weight of responsibility. "We tread a fine line between discovery and destruction. Let us proceed with caution." And so the crew of the Celestia continued their journey across Kepler-16, their minds teetering on the brink of comprehension, their hearts yearning for the transcendent truths that lay just beyond their grasp. The kaleidoscope of colors morphed before Captain Rodriguez's eyes, coalescing into a spiraling tunnel that seemed to beckon him forward. He hesitated, torn between the seductive allure of the unknown and the weighty responsibility he bore as commander. The crew around him chattered excitedly, their voices blending into a symphony of awe and curiosity. "Captain," Dr. Petrova whispered, her voice tinged with reverence. "It's as if the universe is revealing its secrets to us." "Be cautious, Doctor," Rodriguez replied, his thoughts weighed down by the knowledge that one misstep could jeopardize not only their mission, but their very sanity. "There is always a price for such revelations." "Indeed," she murmured, her eyes flicking back to the ever-shifting scene before them. "Is this even real?" Navigational Officer Nguyen asked, her voice tinged with wonder. "Or is it just our minds playing tricks on us?" "Perhaps both," Pilot Cruz suggested, his face alight with fascination. "Maybe reality is more malleable than we ever imagined." "Captain," Engineer Hernandez interjected, his tone urgent. "We need to be careful. There's something off about all of this. Can't you feel it?" Rodriguez nodded, acutely aware of the gnawing sensation at the edges of his consciousness. It was as if an invisible thread was winding its way through his mind, pulling him ever closer to the precipice of understanding and madness. His gut churned with unease, his instincts screaming for him to resist the siren call of Kepler-16's intoxicating atmosphere. "Stay vigilant, team," he ordered, struggling to maintain control over his own thoughts. "Our mission comes first. Stay close, and don't let your guard down." "Understood, Captain," they responded in unison. But he could see the reluctance in their eyes, the hunger for the knowledge that lay tantalizingly out of reach. As they ventured deeper into the alien landscape, Rodriguez wrestled with his own desires. Every fiber of his being longed to surrender to the planet's enchanting call, to cast off the shackles of duty and explore the depths of his own consciousness. But he knew he could not, would not, allow himself to succumb to temptation. He was their leader, and it was his responsibility to guide them safely through this treacherous realm. "Captain," Dr. Petrova said, her voice strained, "there's a heaviness settling over me, a craving I can't shake." "Stay strong, Doctor," he urged, his heart heavy with sympathy for her struggle. "We'll get through this together." But even as he spoke the words, doubt gnawed at him. How could they resist the seductive lure of this world, when every moment spent within its embrace only served to strengthen the hold it had on them? The insidious tendrils of addiction were already beginning to take root, worming their way into the minds of his crew, and Captain Rodriguez feared what they might become if they did not find a way to break free from Kepler-16's grasp. The verdant landscape of Kepler-16 shimmered before Captain Rodriguez's eyes, a kaleidoscope of colors morphing and melding into one another, as if the very fabric of reality itself was tearing apart at the seams. He squinted, trying to focus on the task at hand, but the shifting hues danced mockingly just beyond his reach. "Captain, I'm not sure which way we should go," Navigational Officer Nguyen admitted, her voice trembling with uncertainty. "Every direction seems to be pulling me in at once." "Stay focused, Sophia," Rodriguez said, trying to project a calm he did not feel. "We need to keep moving forward. We can't afford to lose ourselves in this place." "Agreed," Dr. Petrova chimed in, her own voice cracking under the strain of the planet's influence. "If we don't maintain control over our thoughts, we'll be lost forever." "All right, team, let's regroup," Rodriguez commanded, attempting to instill order in their disarrayed minds. "Cruz, how are you holding up?" Pilot Cruz, his eyes wide with wonder, replied, "This place is incredible, Captain. We're learning things about ourselves we never thought possible. But I know we need to stay grounded. It's just hard." "Indeed," Engineer Hernandez added, his brow furrowed as he fought to stay tethered to reality. "It feels like we're being torn between two worlds, the one we came from and this other place that exists just beyond our understanding." "Let's take it one step at a time," Rodriguez suggested, forcing himself to focus. "First, we need to find a way out of this labyrinth of colors and twisting landscapes. Nguyen, do your best to map a path for us." "Understood, Captain," she replied, her eyes narrowing with determination. "I'll find us a way out." "Good. And Hernandez, keep an eye on the landing module and the Celestia's systems. We need to ensure we have a clear path back when the time comes." "Of course, Captain," Hernandez said, nodding resolutely. "Dr. Petrova, continue collecting samples as best you can, but don't let the allure of this place distract you from your duty." "Understood, Captain," she agreed, gripping her sample kit tightly. "All right, team," Rodriguez said, his voice firm and steady. "We've faced challenges before, and we've always come out stronger. This won't be any different. Stay vigilant and focused, and above all else, hold onto your sense of self. It's our most precious weapon in this battle." As they navigated the treacherous terrain of Kepler-16, each member of the crew felt the weight of their own inner demons pressing down upon them. Doubt, fear, and temptation clawed at the edges of their minds, threatening to drag them under into a realm of chaos and confusion. But they pressed on, united by their shared resolve to overcome the darkness that loomed before them. "Captain," Nguyen whispered, her voice barely audible over the cacophony of alien sounds that filled the air. I think I see a way through." "Lead the way, Sophia," Rodriguez ordered, hope flickering within him like a fragile flame. "We're right behind you." Together they forged ahead, determined to face whatever dangers and challenges awaited them in the surreal world of Kepler-16. In this place where reality and fantasy blurred together, they would confront not only the secrets of the universe, but also the depths of their own souls, forever changed by the experiences they shared on this strange and wondrous planet.